was a cold, silent night. The village slept peacefully under a pale moon when a scream shattered the darkness. "Help! Somebody help me!" The villagers rushed toward the forest edge where the sound had come from. But when they arrived, what they saw froze the blood in their veins. In the middle of the clearing, on the muddy ground, lay a large mandala, an ancient circle of symbols drawn with ashes and blood. At its center was the body of a young man, his limbs spread wide in an X shape, his flesh torn and his eyes half open, staring blankly into the void. It wasn't a normal murder. It was the Daayan Ka Chalawa, the witch's curse. The villagers whispered in trembling voices that this place had been cursed for decades. Years ago, there lived a woman named Kanchan, known in the old tales as Daayan Kanchan. She practiced black magic and performed forbidden rituals deep in the jungle. It was said she sacrificed children to gain immortality. One night, the villagers caught her in the act. Enraged, they tied her up and burned her alive. But before dying, she screamed her final words: "Wherever my ashes fall, my spirit shall rise. On every new moon, one soul will come to me, drawn by my Chalawa." To that night, the forest went silent. The stories faded into myths until now. Ravi, a 22-year-old man from the city, arrived in the village. His best friend, Vikram, had been found dead in the same mandala the villagers discovered. The police had closed the case, calling it an animal attack, but Ravi didn't believe it. He met Vikram's mother, an old, frail woman with hollow eyes. "Please, son," she whispered, "don't go near that forest. The Daayan still haunts that mandala. Whoever disturbs her circle dies a terrible death." But Ravi was determined. He wanted the truth, and he would get it no matter what. That night, exactly at midnight, Ravi entered the forest with a flashlight and a camera. The deeper he went, the heavier the air became. Even the insects had stopped chirping. There was only the sound of his heartbeat and the crunch of leaves under his feet. Suddenly, he smelled something rotten like decaying flesh. He raised his flashlight, and there it was, the same mandala drawn on the ground. It had been erased by the police weeks ago, but now it looked freshly drawn, the ashes still warm. Ravi started recording. "If anything happens to me, people will know the truth," he said into the camera. A cold wind howled through the trees. The light flickered. Then, from the center of the mandala, something moved. A black mist swirled into shape. It grew taller, darker, and then took the form of a woman. Her hair was long and tangled, her eyes glowed red, her skin pale like ash. "Why did you come here?" the voice echoed. Ravi froze. The air turned ice cold. "You touched my mandala. Now your soul belongs to me." Before he could run, invisible hands grabbed his legs, dragging him to the ground. The earth beneath him began to crack open, black smoke rising like serpents. Ravi screamed, but no one heard. The next morning, villagers found another body at the mandala center. It was Ravi. The priest looked at the body, then whispered in fear, "The mandala is awake again. Until it is broken, one soul will die on every new moon." But what they didn't know was, curse had only just begun after Ravi's death. Panic spread through the village. No one dared to go near the forest. But news of the mysterious deaths caught the attention of a crime reporter named Arya from the city. She arrived with her crew to investigate what she called the Mandala Murders. When she interviewed Vikram's mother, the old woman trembled and said, "That night, my son and his friends went into the forest. They mocked the stories. They drew that mandala themselves, right over the place where Kanchan's ashes were buried. That's why her curse returned." Arya was skeptical but intrigued. "If this is real," she said, "we'll capture it on camera." That night, Arya and her small team, her cameraman and sound operator, entered the forest. The deeper they went, the colder it got. Their breath turned white in the air. The camera's battery drained faster than usual, and strange distortions appeared on the screen. "Ma'am," said the cameraman nervously, "something's not right." Then came a low growl. They turned around and saw something hanging upside down from a tree. It was a man's body, twisted and bloodied. Symbols carved on his skin, the same mandala sign. Arya gasped and stepped back, but the ground beneath her began to glow with fiery red symbols. Suddenly, the earth split open, and a thick cloud of black smoke rose. Taking shape, the Daayan Kanchan had returned. Her voice was deep and echoing, her eyes burning like coals. "You have awakened me again. Your blood will feed my circle. Arya screamed and pulled out an amulet, one given by the village priest. Om Triambakam Yajamahi, she chanted, her voice trembling. The amulet shone brightly, flew from her hand, and landed in the center of the mandala. The symbols began to fade, the ground trembled violently, and the Daayan shrieked as her smoky form started to dissolve into the wind. But just before disappearing, she said, "I will never die. My Chalawa will return." In every generation, a flash of fire erupted and the entire forest ignited. Arya ran with all her strength. Behind her, screams echoed and her team's voices vanished one by one. When she finally escaped, she fell to her knees, gasping for breath, the forest behind her burning like hell itself. Months later, back in the city, Arya began editing the footage. But one night, she noticed something strange. On her window pane, faintly visible in the moonlight, was a mandala drawn in ashes. She froze. Her reflection in the glass wasn't her own. It was Kanchan's face smiling back at her. The lights flickered. The camera, used in the forest, turned on by itself, showing the last frame, her terrified face screaming into the lens. Then the screen went black, and from the darkness came a whisper.